So let's imagine we have two domestic markets for motorcycles, one in Japan and one in the US. We're starting in a situation when there is no trade. So as you can imagine, the Japanese are better at producing motorcycles. So their domestic price is going to be lower than the US. Let's say that they're producing motorcycles at $700. Now, the demand and supply here is the domestic demand and supply in Japan. This will be given to you in your tutorial as an equation. How would we find the equilibrium? We would simply equate demand with supply. At this price, the quantity is going to be 40,000 motorbikes sold. Now in the US, the price is going to be higher. Let's assume that it is $2,000. And let's assume again that the quantity is 60,000. Again, the domestic demand and supply in the US are going to be equal to create this equilibrium. Now, what would happen if these two countries opened to trade? An arbitrage profit could be made by people who purchase motorbikes in Japan for the lower price and sell it for the higher price in the US. Without any transportation costs or expenses, they would make a gross profit of $1,300. As they do this, the supply of motorbikes in the US is going to increase. And as you know, this means that the price is going to fall. So after trade, the price of bikes in the US is going to fall. As Japan exports more bikes to the US, the demand for bikes produced in Japan is going to increase. When demand is increasing, as you know, prices go up. So the price for motorbikes in Japan will go up. This will create an international price which is somewhere between the Japanese low price and the US high price. So what this essentially means is that a new world market for motorbikes will be developed with a world price which falls somewhere in between 700 and 2,000. Let's assume, to be consistent with the textbook, that that price is going to be 1,000. So this is the international market for motorbikes. The world price here is 1,000. How do we reach this price? We look where the equilibrium is. Where does demand equal supply? In the international market, demand is actually demand for imports, and supply is supply of exports. Now, the demand for imports comes from the US. So the demand for imports is equal to the demand in the US for motorbikes, take the supply in the US for motorbikes. At the world price, this creates a deficit of motorbikes. So at a lower price of 1,000, people want more motorbikes than the domestic economy is supplying. So this is going to be the demand for imports that come from Japan. The supply in the international market is the supply of exports. The supply of exports is equal to the supply of bikes in Japan, take the demand for bikes in Japan. At the world price, a surplus emerges. Because at this higher price, people are willing to buy less than is being supplied. This excess will therefore be the amount that is exported to the US. In the textbook, both of these amounts equate to 40,000 items, and that is going to be the amount that is traded in the international market.